everyone. Tuesday, January 13th, 90 Center Town Center. Regular board meetings called to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Oscar Brown. Trustee Tate.
Here.
Trustee Griffin.
Present.
Trustee Rudez.
Here.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Here.
Mayor Covey.
Present. Please join me with the pledge of allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion for approval of the minutes?
So
The
moved.
minutes, please. We don't have the minutes.
Mayor, can I request that,
I didn't hear you.
can I request that the board, table the minutes?
Is there a motion to table the minutes?
Yes. So moved.
Moved by
Take the minutes.
trustee Rudez, second. Second by trustee Griffin. Roll call.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Oscar. Trustee Tate.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Votes out of table.
Trustee Rudez.
Vote aye.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Votes aye.
Mayor Covey.
Aye. Action items, unfinished business, seeing there's none, we'll move straight to new business. New business, the first and second and third reading ordinance authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of University Park and the Will County 911 Emergency Telephone System Board for the funding of a 911 surcharge relocation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Rudez, second by trustee Griffin. Questions, concerns, or comments? Yes, sir, trustee Milton Payton.
This search of
Yeah, just a quick question. This surcharge reallocation, what kinds of equipment or services would this be used for? Do we have anything specific for the reallocation of the surcharge?
Trustee Payton, yes, we do. From the fire department side of things, these funds can be used to purchase new radios, batteries, microphones, both handheld and for the apparatus themselves. There is some flexibility to where funds could also be used to help us offset dispatching costs with ESCOM. In the past, we've purchased various kinds of radios, spare batteries, and other communications equipment for the personnel and for the fire apparatus.
Does this apply to both the fire department and the police department?
The funds are divvied up pretty much the same. I'm not sure what Chief Bradley in his department is like.
You have a question for the police department?
The last page, well, my last page says that that's just a listing of the different departments.
The fire department, police department will receive 12,000. The fire department will receive 12,069, and police department will receive 12,000.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, what are the plans for the police department? Similar kind of thing?
Similar.
For communication equipment, that's what those funds can be used for.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
I'll pass.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
Mayor Covington?
Aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Vote aye.
Mayor Covington?
Yes.
The ordinance number is 02015-01.
Thank you. Next item, first, second, and third reading ordinance reinstating Chapter 292 of the Administration Code entitled Human Services and Special Events Committee. This is for the request of Mr. Travis and others to see that maybe we can get more help
Excuse me,
for our
Mayor.
special event.
Excuse me, Mayor, you overstep item B.
Oh, sorry. D. I'm sorry.
B. B. Item B, right after A.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The first, second, and third reading ordinance amending ordinance number 1267, an ordinance authorizing a mutual aid box alarm system agreement and authorizing the execution of an amendment to the mutual aid box alarm system agreement. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Rudez, second by trustee Griffin. Is there a question, concern, or comment? Seeing none, roll call. Hearing none.
Trustee Williams?
Okay.
Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Vote aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
Mayor Covington?
Aye.
And the ordinance number is 02015-02.
Dash 02.
Yes.
Okay. Continuing new business. First, second, and third reading ordinance and adoption and execution of a mutual aid agreement between the Village of University Park and the South Suburban Emergency Response Team. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Rudez, second by trustee Griffin. Questions, concerns, comments? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Vote aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Covington?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Thank you.
Ordinance number is 02015-03.
Thank you. First, second, and third reading ordinance reinstating Chapter 292 of the Administrative Code entitled Human Services Special Events Committee. I will repeat, this is a request made from the citizens that was very engaged and missed being participating in activities in the Village of University Park, and they asked that they be given a chance to reinstate this committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Larry Brown, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Milton Payton. Questions, concerns, comments? Yes, sir. Trustee Milton Payton.
Yes, Mayor, I do have a couple of comments. First of all, for the general public, they may not be aware of prior function of the Human Services and Special Events Committee. It was probably one of the best operating committees in the village. It was the brainchild initially of the mayor, and when she became mayor, she asked me to work with the Human Services and Special Events Committee. So I thought what I do is to, and this committee was just eliminated. I mean, we would have as many as 18 people to attend a meeting at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And these are some of the kinds of events that the Human Services and Special Events Committee worked on and put on. A Family Fun Day, and this was a collaboration with Governor State University and their physical therapy department with Dr. Robin Washington. Black History Month celebrations, and they would coordinate this with the library. They conducted 2 community-sponsored job fairs a year. We started the garage sales and the neighborhood block parties to help try to bring the community together. The Pine Lake Jazz, Blues, and Gospel concerts were put on by them. The farmers market that used to be out here was done by the Human Services and Special Events Committee. The Back to School Family Festival and Carnival, which was a new title for Family Fling, but if you recall, for 2 years we had a really nice carnival out here. The Police and Firefighter Recognition and Appreciation Day was also a part of this. It never completed it, but they were planning a community golf outing. They also had a community health fair and a coat drive for our needy citizens. We also planned a special month for senior and impaired citizens awareness, and we're going to be working with the school district for that. Fire prevention and emergency preparedness, particularly during the summer when people start barbecuing, and for the holidays, we will coordinate that with the fire department. Military veterans recognition and appreciation. We had here a couple of Thanksgiving Day dinners where we received donations after the funds were cut from the committee. So we had other people that donated their services and food so that we could feed those that needed some help during the holiday. And also the annual holiday tree lighting, and we were going to also have a winter festival, which would have given our kids something to do. So this was a very active and a very busy committee, and it was just unceremoniously, I just happened to be out with my back problem during that time. And this was all done by volunteers in the community. This is, to me, the highest compliment that you can have by having citizens that are willing to dedicate their time and their personal resources to try to improve our community. Now, since this committee was eliminated, I can testify, because I attended some of these other events, how much worse the participation is in these events that we have right now. As a matter of fact, because somebody had to pick up some of these activities, now the village staff is working on that, which is costing the village money. So much so that, in my opinion, that the community relations department has hired a second person, where this was, a lot of these activities were planned and operated and managed by volunteers. And I just want to say that people are really disgusted, and that's why he's not here tonight, who was a Volunteer of the Year award winner, Mr. Robert Travis. He and a number of other people were very disgusted when this happened. So, in my opinion, I think there were some political overtones with it, because the mayor and I were very much involved in this, because there was no justification for eliminating this committee. Now, just to put things in perspective, they're saying, well, the committees didn't meet. Well, this committee met and it produced minutes, because I reviewed a number of them. By contrast, the Legislative and Operations Committee, I haven't seen any minutes from the Legislative and Operations Committee, so it must not exist. Now, because whatever the process is, once the minutes were turned over, they didn't get to the right folks in the administration, but there were minutes that were produced. And if we were using the same criteria, the so-called Legislative and Operations Committee should be eliminated also. Because I brought this up at several board meetings and was promised those minutes back for last September of 2014. Haven't seen one yet, nor mention of it, okay? So to me, it's very hypocritical to say that, you know, you are not meeting because you don't have any meetings, you don't exist. You know, what's good for the goose and what's good for the gander. So, Mayor, I would support Robert Travis and his efforts to bring back this committee.
Any other comments, concerns? Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes no.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes no.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
Mayor Copeland?
Aye. Trustee Williams? I didn't hear
You should go to name.
Oh.
You didn't hear it.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry for that. Well, Mr. Travis, sorry, he's not here, I have to apologize to him and the other people that asked me to put this on the agenda. Their services are unwarranted. Motion approving the 2015 calendar year meeting schedule.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table the calendar year meeting schedule. I
Okay.
think
Is there any reason that?
it needs some tweaking and
Any
revisiting.
more changes?
Could,
That's it.
yeah,
Okay.
could I, and I might just add to that, because I would like, in our adjustment of it, for the Public Safety Committee meeting to change our meetings from the first Monday to the first Wednesday,
Okay,
because they coincide, well, they run into the Legislative and Operations Committee meeting. And it's just not enough time to go, in between.
well, that's right, you're on.
Yeah,
Okay, there'll be.
And
All
I
right,
appreciate
no problem.
that, thank you.
Not a problem, so we can go back to that. And if you're, whatever adjustments, please submit them to Jonathan, and we'll put it back on the next agenda. Okay, so we're gonna table, a motion to, roll call to table this. Any other questions? I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
So moved. Second, I'm sorry, second.
Roll call. Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Aye to table.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye to table.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
Mayor Copeland?
Aye. Motion to approve termination of the agreement with Star Disposal effective May 1st, 2015. Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by trustee Griffin, second by trustee Griffin. I'm sorry, that's true, trustee Rudez, a second by trustee Griffin. Questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Also with that motion, I would also like to amend that motion and make an amendment that we continue negotiation with Homewood Disposal. And the reason that we're terminating this contract, because we don't want to have it just automatically renewed without the opportunity for adjustments and to
Okay,
revisit it.
okay, and trustee Larry Brown?
And I do agree, I think just terminating the contract and not having something to go behind or back it up. Can we put that in this language? That we're gonna negotiate with them?
Mayor?
Just a second. You?
Yeah, I'm done.
Were you finished?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason it was necessary to put this termination on the board agenda was because the contract included an automatic renewal clause. If we don't terminate it at the end of this contract term, they could automatically renew with the same terms. We were concerned about some of the terms of the contract, such as the village being responsible for collecting the garbage bills,
Right.
which means that it's costly for us to do that. It didn't allow for us to go out to a competitive bid or to renegotiate those terms if we don't act within a set amount of days as of January 31 to terminate that contract, which includes the termination clause. I mean, they'll continue to fulfill this contract that they're currently working on, but now we have the ability to negotiate a seek bids under the contract.
Okay, and with that said, those terms as far as, have we thought about maybe is there any talk with Aqua maybe to do something for the billing? I know
Well-
that's his concern you had shared with me, Mr. Lanier.
Yeah.
That was the billing concern, that we shouldn't have to pay for that, and they will take over the billing, so that way University Park will no longer have to deal with the collection of people that are not paying their garbage bills.
We haven't really got to the negotiations. We did have a very preliminary conversation when I spoke with the Homewood Disposal this morning, because they were concerned about not having the automatic renewal. And why was I so concerned about the village not collecting their garbage fees for them? And I shared with them that most communities, they collect garbage fees for the garbage companies because they actually sell water to the community, which means
Right.
no additional cost of postage and billing and et cetera. And I told them I would indeed put them in touch with Aqua, but Aqua has no responsibility. I don't believe they've actually talked at this point.
Okay, So with that said, and amendments, clerk, that we will motion to terminate the agreement with negotiations pending.
Thanks, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
it's in there, and I did speak to them before about that, so hopefully that would be not a no-brainer, because they are still on the table, they're still offering to give the free garbage cans to all the residents, and to cut that percentage from 5 to 3%. So I hope that's still on the table as well. It's, according to him, it's still on the table. Okay, so make sure we keep that in negotiations, that all our residents get free garbage cans. All right, is there a motion? Do we have already
This
second?
motion is second.
Okay,
For, this is the
Just with the
this
upgrade.
amended motion to approve the termination of the disposal effective May 1st, 21st. I thought it was April, okay? But with negotiations pending.
Yeah, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
that is a good point, because if the contract ends April 30th, this reads May 1st, shouldn't it be terminated on April 30th?
No, but we need a new contract in place by May 1st.
Oh,
But the
okay.
contract ends April 30th.
And this has to be done 90 days prior
So
to.
you don't have a contract on May 30th, on
May
May
1.
1st, right?
Correct.
So you can't terminate something you don't have.
I think you're correct.
Yeah,
We might
it
want
says
to-
April, like I
April
said.
30th.
Right, so it needs to be modified. It does say April last one we checked. Oh, you want to change that to say
Just
April?
verify that with the attorney.
I'm sure you know about that.
I've not seen
You said it couldn't
As
get.
of the last day of the current contract, if we don't reinsert.
Okay, maybe we talk to another
As of
attorney.
the last day of the current contract.
They didn't tell you?
no, Mayor, they did not.
Okay. Okay. But it is April. Okay. So we have to put April on there, Mr. Lanier is about here? April 30th?
30 days.
April 30th.
Okay. Okay, with that, any other changes, comments? Roll call.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Oscar Brown. Trustee Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Aye, Mr. Council.
Trustee Rudez.
Votes aye with the amendments.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Votes aye also with the amendments.
Mayor Collins.
Aye, amendments. Okay. On the next agenda. Appointments and reappointments. With this concurrence of the Board of Trustees, Ms. Deborah Young will be reappointed to the Board of Fire and Police Commission. Term will expire December 31st, 2017. The new member will be announced at the next Tuesday meeting. Is there a motion? This is for Fire and Police Commission, so we can keep it functioning.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Payton, second. There a second?
I'll second it, but I would also like to make, I would like for us to, I want to make my statement and then we can go from there. I do understand, and like I said, as the former liaison of the Fire and Police Commission, now, I've taken great lengths to know and understand the rules and regulations and training involved. And then the training is quite extensive. And part of the rules and regulations state that when you appoint a new person, you should maintain the person that's being replaced until the new person is trained. In other words, and I do know Commissioner Brookins had given her a letter of resignation due to some health concerns. And I do know, and I just recently found out that her situation has improved. And I don't know if I would imagine that she was looking to talk with you, Mayor, and about getting reinstated. I don't know if she did or not, and this is a conversation I had not that long ago. So I'm asking that I don't have a problem reappointing Mrs. Young, but I do believe that Gloria Brookins, her experience and her training would be very helpful for this commission, either as a commissioner or as a consultant.
Well, with that said, I received a letter from her saying that she was not able to, it was too stressful and other reasons. And I did accept that letter from her, but just the same, we have to appoint other people. And I talked to the chief as well, because we do need a board, because we have serious issues that they must attend to, and our police chief was cordial enough to let me know that he had some other people who had ideas, so that would be interested on the committee. So we need to get this committee functioning, because they have something that they really need to address right now. Mr. Lanier did have that conversation, because he said we've never had a consultant before. Even all the years that Ms. Brookins has been there, they do have an attorney that they refer to when they need it, and they all get professional module training, each one of the commissioners. So with that said, we need to move on with this. And she did ask for that, and I did submit the letter telling her thank you for her services. But I wasn't aware that she's recuperated and she's strong again to do that. So I don't have anything but just the same, we need to keep this board functioning until the chief submits the names to me, which I'm looking forward to. Because he was recommending people that have a certain background, like that would be very conducive to what that particular commission is supposed to function as.
And just, I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm not minimizing the interests of anyone else.
Okay.
All I'm stating is this: until those individuals are trained, you still need the experience of that person. And I would imagine until those commissioners are trained, that to keep that experienced individual on that commission to help guide and direct those individuals. And that's where I'm coming from. It's not a matter of individuals being interested. It's a matter of and I know you stated that you want to keep it going. Well, they still have to be trained. In the meantime, if we have an issue come up, we'll have individuals such as Gloria Barnett Brookins to be there to help sort out some of the issues that crop up.
Okay, that would be a sidebar. So, I don't have a problem with that, but right now we have a motion.
What's the capacity? I mean, how many members are active?
We do have 5. We had 5. We had 4. We've had 3 to resign.
At one time we started at 5, and
They had 7.
So
They
currently
prefer to
we
have 5.
Currently we have 4. And
Yes, sir.
With the appointment of Mrs. Young, would that be the 5th person?
No, she'll be the
That'd
4th.
be the 4th person?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It would still be 1 lacking, but we do need to, they are requesting to have 7 because of that problem, not having a quorum. It would make them not have a quorum if they went to 7. So we're trying to keep it at 5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, okay. The motion is on the floor.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Who is the new member?
We don't have a new member yet.
Identified.
We haven't, they have been
A
identified
new
yet.
member would be enough, so
Right, there's
there's
still-
only one member that we're voting on today, not.
To just
Never
read,
gonna have a new member.
right, we wouldn't have a new number. No, the chief is gonna submit someone to us.
All right. My second question is in regards to appointments to the Police and Fire Commission towards the expiration of the term of the mayor. I believe there's a time period, I can't remember if it's 3 months or 6 months before the expiration of the mayoral term. You're not allowed to make appointments to the Police and Fire Commission, right?
She's asking to be put on here. This is on the board. I'm not appointing her. It's a reappointment here.
I think you're right. I think it's 90 days, 4
I
months.
thought it was 4 months, 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
I didn't get a chance to research.
Tomato Tomato is on the board agenda right now for the board. It's not my appointment. She's asking to be reinstated. I have not appointed her. She's asking to be reinstated.
Well, Mayor, I tell you what, I'd like to make a motion to table. That way she still maintains to be a commissioner. She can still function, correct? All right, I'd like to make a motion to table.
Appoint her
I'll
at 30
second.
days
I'll
until they're
second.
not second. Okay?
Then still operate.
Yes. Okay. We still, okay. We still have a majority.
Okay.
I'll second.
Run that one by me again?
There's rules in regards to the police and fire commissions and towards the expiration of term of a sitting mayor. And I can't remember if it's 6 months or 90 days. It's one of the two. This is the next meeting will make it close because we got February, March, April, May. So we still have time, but I want to make sure before we make any appointments that we're following our rules.
Yeah, no, I got that, but
Right.
what's this, the last piece here? We'll vote on.
The motion to table.
This motion.
And question,
But they, you said that she would still be able.
she's still able to participate.
So her term has not expired?
Yes, it is. December
She's still
31st.
able to table, but there was no action taken, it's a motion to table. She
She
still
can
stays
still
active.
hold it until,
So how could she, if her appointment is expired, how could you continue to?
She does, she can still be part of the commission.
the attorney says it's correct. She can continue until she's removed.
One last
Okay.
thing, Mayor, please give my
Continue
target.
what?
That's okay, go ahead, sir.
We'll try to get on time next time.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, roll call
Can
on,
I
Then we will
understand,
table this, please.
what is she continuing to do?
stay on the commission.
Commission, ma'am.
Stay on the commission.
But she's not on there.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
she is on there. Roll call,
Reappointment?
yes. She's being reached. It's request for her to be reappointed, but it's tabled until next week.
Next week, next time.
Roll call,
Trustee Williams?
Vote aye.
to table.
Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Tate?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Both sides of the table.
Trustee Boudin?
Both sides.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Both sides.
Mayor Tucker?
Aye. Okay. Bills payable. Attached to your approval is the listing of the general operating expenses for the Village University Park, and the following is a grand total of the everyday expense of the last 4 weeks of December 13, 2014 to December 13, 2015. General operating funds, $692,014.98. Payroll fund, $6,267.09. Road and bridge, $7,325.22. Town center, $3,087.05. Golf course, $48,371.91. Capital project funds, $7,402.60. MFT funds, motor fuel tax is $17,560.40. Debit service, 1998 bond, $500. Chip 5 Raleigh Industrial Fund, $1,926,243, totaling $2,709,055.17. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Rudez.
Second.
Second by trustee Larry Brown. Questions, concerns?
Question,
Yes, sir.
just lost.
Trustee Griffin?
Mr. Lemire, I marked one but didn't mark the other. With the amount of, that we pay for the copier lease, 83671 right, copier agreement, Rico. That doesn't look like Rico, but whatever. It's $5,250.20. And I know we had one on there for the computers too. I don't see it right now. Oh, Dell lease agreement. 38653. And that's $4,163.72. Is there any way could we combine those? Or any way could we get a copier agreement with Dell maybe? Maybe we can reduce what we pay to Rico?
I don't think so. We can talk with our IT department, but Rico basically works with copiers and printers and Dell mobile computers, so we go with the specialized equipment with the vendor who sells these equipment or leases these equipment at the best cost. If we were, for instance, if we were to go to Dell and ask them to supply us with printers, they would have to go to Rico or some other company to get those printers, so you have an additional party to add to the cost.
Okay.
And also, just to tell you too, looking at the lease, trustee Griffin, they have given us additional ones at no cost because we've had the lease with them so long. But Dell, as a norm, does not go into printers. There's certain manufacturers that do not do printers. and some that does not do computers.
Okay,
Any other, sir?
What
okay,
is MFT?
Motor fuel tax.
okay. Yes, on the Aflac 83681, what is a after payroll deduction? You got Colonial Life after Aflac.
Those represent miscellaneous deductions that employees have held on their check and they send out.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Just, any other? Any other? Trustee Noguera?
Yeah. Check number 83672, this is for Seaway Bank and Trust, general obligations bonds. I noticed that, it was only $500. Is that a GO bond that's done?
That's an annual fee we pay for service.
Oh,
That's an
just,
annual fee we pay to Seaway.
oh, okay, for services, okay. Also, where is it here? The 83738 on page 2, the ISR Corporation for monthly mapping service. What's that about? Monthly mapping service.
That's supposed to be on MapQuest.
I know the South Suburban Mayor's Manager had a program like that, but it was much more expensive.
And it's just,
Yeah.
That's MapQuest.
yes, I still here.
Chief, Chief Bradley, we need your help with this. This is a monthly mapping for the police department. The monthly mapping service. $144.
So this is like an annual expense for a service that we get on a monthly basis?
It's like a monthly expense.
That's the first time I've seen it. Is it new? I just don't recall ever seeing it before. So it was monthly, you're paying it monthly. I would expect to see it monthly.
Chief, is 83738.
ISR Corporation.
Integrated Systems Research Corp.
Yeah, that helps with part of our mapping for the CAD system for our offices.
For your CAD system?
Yeah.
What's your CAD system?
It's computer operated dispatch.
Okay.
Computer aided dispatch, I'm sorry, same thing operating.
So is that like in the squad cars?
That's a survey dog.
You can have it in the squad cars. It's usually, it's like a talk and type type of system. You can talk as you type the information. They do the same thing at the Crete 911 center. It's just a new way of dispatching and tracking information, keeping track of information.
Okay.
Can someone elaborate more on this MFT? I've never seen this, I don't understand it. Motor fuel
Just a
tax?
second, just a second. Okay, okay, I'm glad to see Eastcom is being paid. At the meeting I was at, the $34,274, it was embarrassing to sit there and see we were the only one that hadn't paid our bill. So we need to keep that current. Mr. Jones, if possible. Appreciate that. Okay, any other concerns with the board?
One more.
Yes, sir.
83723, fire service is operator adjustment, T85,
What number is that, sir?
14,177, 165.
I'll look at that, trustee. I know.
That's 83723.
I know which one you're referring to, and I remember talking to Chief Exman, he was telling me that was an expense that they used a grant for that expense. I'm not sure if exactly what it is, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
They did just, excuse me. Okay. The fire department had a question about that, because I know we just received 2 grants for the weekend. Are you guys into that? Have you gotten that yet, or are you still working on it? I know ex-mayors talked to me about it. You don't know?
I'm not sure which.
Oh, okay. It just came up last week, a grant. And
We got one
this
grant.
amount.
We did get the
Two.
one grant for 12,000.
Yes, yes, sir.
We just
Share.
discussed earlier, we got that one.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Roll call.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Morgan had a question about the motor fuel tax.
Yes.
MFT, what it is.
Excuse me?
What's your question?
Mr. Lanier, tell them what the motor fuel tax is. I mean, we pay that, that's something with our public works.
No, that's a fund that we have for motor fuel
Right.
activity.
That's a
It's
fund.
always been there. We may not always have expenditures out of there, but it's always been a fund here.
That's a fund is that for fuel?
No.
Motor fuel tax is a tax. When you go to the gas pump, there are certain taxes in that, and those taxes go to the state, and the state distributes that money to the municipalities throughout the state.
For our road and ground.
Road, you know, and that's where, it's like it's a fund set aside for us to collect money from individuals who buy gas.
But isn't this for expenditures?
Yeah, I mean, and you can use it for, we get the money from the state, and we can use that for certain village expenditures, but they have to fall under, if I'm not mistaken, they have to fall under those issues for road, I want to say road repair, am I right?
Yes, it is.
Road and bridge, and road improvements.
Mr. Lanier said he's going to respond.
I lost my place, but motor fuel tax is imposed on the taxpayers. We receive these taxes, put them in a separate fund, and we use them for a lot of public works activities, road repair, road salt, our public work employees' salaries can be paid out of it. There's certain stipulations which the monies can be used for, and therefore we keep them in an extra fund. That's why you see monies coming out of the motor fuel tax fund.
Which is, according to legislation now, that's dwindling away. So a lot of municipalities will now lose a lot of that state funded from MFTs are dwindling away eventually. So we're glad to even get some right now.
So I assume this motor fuel tax can be 4
This
years?
is not, could you hold it to public comments?
I mean, while we're talking about it, you're only expenditures. And why wait until then? I'm interested in that, and I just want to know when you, because.
Okay, public comments, you want to take it, we'll take it then. Okay?
But we're talking about it now.
Mr. Lanier?
I'm taking notes, want to know. Can it be 4 years? That's what I have to do, 4 years. Y'all won't tell me that.
4 years? Yeah, you can forward it, not a problem. Okay, roll call, please.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, sir?
If you look at the actual expenditures, this money was used to purchase road salt, mostly to Russell's Power Equipment.
For this motor fuel?
And it came from the motor fuel fund. I think that's something that you could use it for. If you look at the expenditure list, it goes for Russell's Power Equipment, so that's 4 separate items.
And why 48,000 for this week, 2 weeks at the golf course? That's an exuberant amount of money.
Okay, it's not 2 weeks. We haven't had a bill. We haven't had a bill payable looking for about a month and a half.
You keep saying, we can, public comments on here, okay. Yes, sir. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Stand.
Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Both sides.
Trustee Boudin?
Both sides.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Both sides to pay the bill.
Mayor Covington?
Aye. Okay, thank you. At this time, executive session, if that's, anything pending for executive session? At this time, yep, to leave, in light. Report of any officer? Report of any officer? General public. Do I have any cards?
There weren't any up there.
They have it set up.
They got a list of names.
The list, was there a list sent, sir? Thank you.
I've been here since 6 and there was no list up there.
Clerk, did you put a list up there? There was supposed to be a sign-in list, you did? Okay. Thank you.
Let's switch. No, she went past it.
Thank you. Any other sign-ins?
What about if you
Anybody
didn't
else
get a
want
chance
to
to
sign
sign
in?
in?
I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, good there. We just have these people. I'm sorry? Okay, I'll put your name down, sir.
So the head of departments leave, and we can't ask questions of them.
This is the way they wanted the new agenda to
Who
go.
is doing that?
Our attorney and Mr. Lanier. What and Ms. Morgan, would you like to speak?
I have nothing to say.
Okay.
This village is screwed. It was truly screwed.
Yeah, we have it.
None of you all know what the hell
Okay.
you're doing.
First, Ms. Paula Wilson.
I'm still here,
Come up, please.
Maybe. Maybe I'm still here.
Praise the Lord. Good evening.
Good
Mayor,
evening.
Trustees,
Good evening.
board members, village members that are left, and residents, good evening. I want to say that on December 16th, First Baptist hosted a community police relations open forum. Turnout was a good turnout. I wish it had been more youth. On the agenda item?
Comments should only be considered of items on the agenda.
Agenda items. I apologize. I thought that was for the next new one, for the new agenda. Apparently not. Agenda. Sorry, I apologize. Yes.
What the hell?
Let me make an announcement right now for the public. Yeah. I would like to make an announcement. At the next meeting, I will have an open from 6:30 until 7 for the public to be able to speak things other than on the agenda. So feel free to come in, sign your name, and from 6:30 to 7, that 30 minutes that we normally have here, you can have that to request any comments, anything that you'd like to say.
Will they be here?
Yeah, they can be here.
So
That's
we
their
have
option.
to zigzag in and out of our houses on cold days like this.
6 o'clock from 6:30 to 7 I'm opening it up for the public. So they'll be able to come and speak from 6:30 to 7, every board meeting.
Who will hear it?
I will be here and hopefully your staff will be here as well. It's optional,
This
looks like
is a joke. It is really and truly a joke.
Okay, come up, Ms. Gina Williams.
Okay,
Is your elected-
they
they voted for it, ma'am.
And residents of University Park. Now, at the last meeting, they did mention that the attorney said that we would not be able to speak.
Could you speak in the mic?
We would not be able to speak on things that are not on the agenda. However, I did go to the Open Meeting Act, and there is on that website that the public body can speak on things that's not on the agenda, except for at special and emergency meetings. And this is on the Opens Meeting Act. Lisa Madigan, like I said, I work with flavor departments. And it's
Lisa.
there, and I have copies, and I gave some to some of the people out here. So maybe the attorney might want to do her research, her homework, or whoever, the gentleman here, and check it out. Because according to this, we can speak on things not on the agenda except for emergency and special meetings. And I think, that's only fair. Who up here would reject or not want to hear your village opinions? Because this is where your vote comes from.
Exactly. But
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because like I said once before, I won't drink from that cup. So let's get it straight. You need to hear from us because we're the ones that's putting you in office, and I would think you want to know our thoughts and opinions, right, Mr. Lanier? Right, government body?
That's right.
For the last 10 years, I've been dealing with
We've
this.
always done
Okay,
this.
just like Milton Payton said, we've been waiting for minutes from the legislation committee for how long? And I think it was trustee Oscar Brown that said when he gets around to it. So when is that gonna be? When hell freezes over? We
Okay.
need to know what's going on. We're paying our tax dollars in this village.
Ms. Williams, I'm
So
going to say
I'm gonna go
that
on to
the agenda item.
the agenda item.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
But
I
I
was
said again,
upset.
6:30, every second, fourth Tuesday,
Okay.
I will be
I
here
will be
6:30.
there. Oh, yeah,
I
I'm
will be
coming.
here.
I'm
Yes.
walking authority with the Holy Ghost. I will be there.
Yes, ma'am.
I fear no one.
Okay.
So I will be there. And as far as
Agenda
what
items
went on
today?
tonight, I was upset to see even the discussion of Star Disposal, because those people are on point. They pick up your garbage, and even on the days that you forget to put your garbage out, if you call, they come back and get your garbage. So I'm hoping that Mr. Lanier and whoever else will keep that in mind and negotiate that contract. Because I would hate to see some bootleg company, Ray, Pookie, and Boquisha, come to get our garbage when we have a company that's on point and does a great job. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And those are my comments. Also, I want to say thank you, Mayor, for the Austin Committee, the people here in the village. They're doing a great job. And for the people that came out tonight, thank you for the house.
3 minutes or 5?
I have something to say. Trustee. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, can you all explain the change of the rules? I've been gone a couple months. I don't know when this happened, but just share with us this new process, and it could be on TV too, and then you won't have angry people.
Mr. Lanier,
And tell how the agenda is done, who does the agenda? Is it designed from
the village manager, myself, and the attorney does the agenda. They have, and everyone else has an input in the agenda. The attorney said that this was something that we talked about. I did not agree, but it's majority vote, and I'm only one vote.
How do we put stuff on? Oh, you voted on? How do we have?
Oh, no, you have to stand up, you have to come. No, so.
Are we going by the list?
So, yeah, now I'm going to Cynthia Hudson.
Thank you.
Cynthia Hudson.
Good evening, Board of Trustee and Mayors. Oh, I'm sorry, please.
I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, Covington,
Yes.
Board of Trustees. My name is Cynthia Hudson, and I would like to comment on, you all were speaking about reinstating the Special Events Committee.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do agree that with the great committee. I've served on that committee, and it's useful and it's helpful to both everyone in the village. I would also like to ask, you know, if you consider reinstating that committee again. There's another very important committee that I feel as though should not have been disbanded, and that's the Educational Advisory Committee. That's a committee that every student and every parent in University Park really need. Because when our students have problems with the school district and their parents are trying to fight this with no avail, you know, they've done all they can and all they know to do to fight the school. They have no other avenue to turn to. We were that avenue. We were that committee. And we've helped a lot of students along the way. I still tell parents, we had an education advisory committee. I know the people who's on it, so if you call, if I can't help you, if you call these people, I'm sure we'll still help you.
Thank you.
So I would appreciate it if you all would consider reinstating that Education Advisory Committee. And I would also just like to take this time to thank the trustees, Trustee Griffith and Trustee Larry Brown, for your generous donations to the boys that's going on the Spain trip. So we did ask you all, you know.
We can't.
Surely.
Let's go.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you.
Okay.
Happy New Year
Ms.
to you
Mary
all.
Smith, thank you. Ms. Mary Smith?
Good evening, Mayor Covington, Board of Trustees.
Good evening.
I just had a question or maybe a suggestion regarding the summary of expenses.
Okay.
When I see this,
Okay.
and the way I'm understanding it, I can see general operation funds, $692,014, but I don't, that means the money came out of the funds, out of that bank. But it doesn't tell me what it was done with, what was done with that.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if it could be broken down a little bit more. Payroll's pretty much self-explanatory. Roads and bridges, I see money came out, but what was done with that? Town center came out, it doesn't tell me how it was spent. Can we just kind of
Now,
expand on this?
yes, normally the clerk would respond to that. Would you like, oh, he's gone.
I mean, on a regular basis, on our
Yes, there
sheet
is
here,
a
so we can
breakdown.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, we have the breakdown right here of that from the bills payable.
Okay,
And you're
so that's
more
not
than welcome,
something you wanna
no,
share
it
with
just,
us?
right. But it will be after we approve it, it's open to the public. You go to the website and it's there.
I saw 911. What are we doing with 911? Are we opening a center, a 911 center within the police station?
No, it's what Eastcom and Creek Monique, that's our Eastcom 911 center. That's our emergency center that we call. We all share, Creek, Franklin, Monique, we have another one, Gardens. It's about 6 of us that share the 911 emergency center.
So are we allocating what?
We share the funding, so it would be too cost effective for us to have it individually here, so we share with the other villages and split the cost for the
Okay, so you're
911.
just saying that we're doing what we've been doing the whole time?
Yes, ma'am, for some while.
Is that because the agreement is coming back?
Well, yeah, there's an agreement yearly, we just had a budget that we just approved the other
Okay,
day,
so that's what that
Tuesday.
is.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you. Sharice Williams.
For residents, I am Sharice Williams, and I was a little taken aback because I did want to announce something, but I know that I cannot due to the change of the agenda, so I'm not going to do that respectively. But I would like to address the Human Resources and Special Events Committee and the different events that were handled by that committee. I'd like to know how much money was lost with all of the events that were being held. And I would know it was a lot of events that were held, and they were positive events, and I'm not going to talk about the events in a negative light, but I'd just like to know, with the volunteers not having the professional expertise to move the events forward in a definite positive manner, how much money was gained and or lost in those events that were being handled by volunteers only, without the guidance of individuals that really garner and hold the money. You know, because I also heard that, and this is pure rumor, I heard it, so I'm not familiar, that some of the individuals on those committees, that commission got paid. So it wasn't necessarily fully volunteer. So if that is true, I would like that to be addressed as well. So those are my 2 questions about the items on the agenda.
Some of them I can just address. A lot of them, as far as when you say professionalism, what we did, what the commissions were, that committee was an assistant to Park and Recs, to the fire department. All of the departments worked with that committee. They just did a lot of the lead work for them. The monies came out of those fundings for like the Park and Recs, the fire department, the police department. So those were some of the things that they did, but there were a lot of professional people on that committee, and they had expertise, but they worked with some of the people here on, they've always worked with staff since the beginning of time. Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, I'm answering her question. Those were people that, if like, for example, the Veterans Day, that was all free. People from Washington, D.C. came here and spoke voluntarily. Those were very professional people. They were assigned by the President of the United States. Another one was the head of the Tuskegee Airmen. They came here professionally and they came and volunteered. So a lot of things were just some things we did just for good feelings around the village. And that's been since I've been out here over 20 years. Barbara McKinley Lewis was doing that at that time. She always did that.
We're
It
not
was
talking about
always a
something that happened
volunteer
50
thing.
years ago.
Excuse me, ma'am. We, again, sir, can we have some type of order here? Thank you. So, and
Don't come
Mr.
up here, brother.
Trustee
Me,
Payton.
you're gonna be dancing in front of that camera.
Oh, okay.
Now it's up to you, whichever way you wanna go.
That's threatening off. Okay, would you like to speak on anything?
Yeah, I know we're past your 3 minutes, but, no, nobody was paid as part of the events that were put on, at least, that were members of the committee. Now, when you have a concert and you bring in entertainers, then they're paid. You know, there were expenses, so for example, when you have the
All in the
holiday,
and don't know the flavors.
holiday tree lighting, just like we had this last time, the volunteers provided the labor, and the village essentially paid for, you know, the hot chocolate, and the cookies, and, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So, no, you know, there are a lot of misinformation that's going on. Now, let me just say this in perspective also. There's not a department that we have in University Park. There's not a Parks and Rec department in the country that makes money. The whole purpose of these departments that we have are to serve the people. That's why we pay taxes. Okay. Now, if we were a community that had some pretty significant commercial stuff, where we got a lot of sales taxes, you know, there might be an occasion somewhere where you get a rebate on your taxes. But by and large, all Parks and Rec departments are there for the service of the people. You pay normally it's a nominal fee for whatever the event that you would participate in, but it's for the benefit of the community. It gives our kids something to do, for example, for day camp. Probably doesn't pay for itself, but it provides a positive outlet. And there's social costs associated with it also. So if you have kids that are running the street, breaking into houses, or getting into other kinds of trouble, you know, getting pregnant or whatever, then there's a long-term social cost that you know, we experience as society. It's difficult to put your finger on it, but when you do an analysis and you take a look at all of what's involved, then, you know, there's a cost to it. So, but it's all, you're in real estate, just like myself. And so you know that a couple of the most important things that people look for when they go to relocate to a community, first is the public safety, second is parks and recreation. And when we have a number of people who want to help make this a better community, to kind of live out the African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. You know, they were manifesting that by trying to do some good in the hood in here at University Park.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So with that, I just like to respond to that. I agree with everything both of you said, and they're very, very, very well thought out comments. The only thing that I just suggest that when I say professional, the individuals that came were professional. I was at the Veterans Affair with a young lady who flew in from Washington. Wonderful speaker, very professional. So I'm not downplaying any of the events. Please don't get me twisted what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that if they were promoted properly from an aspect of a professional promotion, and not just within the village, but bring it in, similar to Country Club Hills, different things like that. I'm just saying we could have put in a little bit more to bring back more, especially with the carnival. It was an excellent idea, but we just didn't get the monetary to keep it going.
Well,
So,
no, that was free. We didn't pay a dime for that carnival.
I already lost money on that,
No,
so that's wrong
that
too.
carnival, no, that
So, okay, so then that goes back to my main question. So I just need to know the numbers of the events that were given and what was lost and or gained. Okay, so then,
I did not know that.
hey.
Let me clarify that. The carnival came at their own expense.
Okay.
They came at their own expense. And based on the amount of the ticket sales, the village got a percentage of it. Okay? We used part of that to try to pay for tickets for the disadvantaged kids.
I remember that.
Okay? Because it's a heartbreaking thing. Well, in fact, I had it, happen when I was sitting under a tent. And I had Remax Synergy, who I work for. We sponsored a race car so kids could get into the race car and have their pictures taken. And so I was talking to a family with 5 or 6 kids, and they had just gone to the carnival and came back, and I was asked if they enjoyed it. They just walked around because they couldn't afford to get on anything. So we were trying to do some things for people that really should have a good experience here at University Park, but due to their circumstances, just don't have the resources to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We paid $15,000
Sandra
in
Hurd, please.
2013
Sandra
and
Hurd.
$40,000 in
Please come up to Sandra
2012
Hurd.
on the
Sandra
contract.
Hurd, please come up, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a couple of questions tonight. I will make sure that I get on the list next time. I do have an announcement for the Finance Committee meeting. The schedule is for Wednesday, the 21st. Right? 21st. Next Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month.
Well, let's start with the schedule.
Okay, all right, you schedule me, please, thank you.
Right, well, I hope this is in
All right.
line.
Yeah.
And of course, we are encouraging people to come out, because the second comment that I had is about the appointments. One of the things that I've been expressing, that we do need members. And I see that you are still appointing and reappointing some committees, so I want to know when other existing committees, like the Finance Committee, may have some appointments and reappointments set. My other question was on the STAR renegotiation agreement of the billing. I do hope that we will put in a negotiation if possible to get a better price for the residents. I don't know what else that you're going for. Also, I gather that you don't want to have the expense of the billing anymore. Hopefully that won't increase the price of the bill, but that's just one thing to put in there. And then on the bills payable, the TIF 5, the amount of $1.9 million, I know this is payment from that fund. My question is, did this amount come from the taxes that were paid this year? Or are these payments from still some taxes that we owed before in the past? Or is it just from the monies that were collected this year? And then my last comment is that I would express, just like some of the other residents, that the residents are not excluded from the process. If, for instance, if we had executive session tonight, we would have not had the general public unless people were willing to hang around after that. I just think it will give more goodwill gestures if you can show that you're still willing to remain open and hear from the public.
As I said, and I'll say it again, 6:30, just like the school board does on the third to fourth Tuesday now, that they have 6:30, they have public meetings for the public. The board is there at 6:30 to open for any comments that the public might have from 6:30 to 7. So I'm opening that up to the public from 6:30 until 7 to come in with any comments you have. It does not have to be on the agenda from 6:30 to 7 every second and fourth Tuesday. Feel free to come in. It's open to the public for any comments and
But as far as during the meeting,
it was right before the meeting.
Have an executive session.
No, it'll be before the meeting. They should be, but if they don't want to be, they don't have to be. Just like the school board, they don't make it mandatory. I'm just saying that that's what I'm going to do, make it open to the public. So.
And could somebody respond to the TIF question?
Mr. Lanier will respond to that.
I'll try to respond to both of your questions. Again, the reason we put on the agenda to renegotiate the garbage contract is not that we had any issue with this service. It's very good service from what I understand. The problem with the service is that, my concern with the contract was that it automatically renewed as of May 1. currently, we do the collections for them, which is costly. Not only do we do the collections for them, we pay them a set amount every quarter for garbage. That's whether or not we actually collect those monies, which means that you're subsidizing the garbage collection with your tax dollars also. Money that should not be used for that. That's unusual for any other community. In other words, if in the business you have, say, 15% of bad debt, that they, people who didn't pay their garbage bills, with the garbage company, they still get 100% of the garbage money, which means that other 15% is coming out of your property tax dollars. So that's something we wanted to rectify, in our new, with negotiations. And the only thing really says is that now we have an opportunity to negotiate where we're not paying bad debt, where we're not paying, absorbing all the costs of collecting the money, and those sort of things.
Well, I'm just saying, in those negotiations, if it could be that they're not going to say, okay, now if we're going to be billing them, there's an extra charge there besides what we already paying.
What he's saying also, the board, right now, the village is paying the garbage bill, and we're losing money. Because the village pays the whole amount right then and there. Now, people that don't pay their garbage bill, we have to pick it up, and then we're lacking that $15,000 or $16,000 that we've already paid off. Now, we're not getting it. Now, the village is at a loss. So Mr. Lanier is saying that he wants to put that burden back on them. Let them collect it, let them have that headache. If the people don't pay for it, the garbage won't get picked up, that's on them.
Right, that's fine, I'm just saying, even if we have to give up getting the free garbage cans if they.
No, he said that he'll keep that on, he said he'll keep that on the docket. He will give them free garbage cans.
So that's what you need to do, Mayor, crack down on these garbage scofflaws.
Okay, Mr. Wayne. Ms. Wayne, I'm sorry.
First of all, I'd like to know, how do we get put on the agenda? If we want to have something put on the agenda, how do we do this?
Just make a phone call.
And then we will put
Give
it
me a
so
call.
that
We will talk about it. I can't say we will definitely put it on there. It's an issue that we can legitimately put on there, such as, give me an example. Regards.
Okay, what if we have a complaint about something that we all are voting on, and we not in agreement with it?
Okay, that would be an agenda item, and you we have free range to speak on that during this session right now. But if you want some earlier, like I said, from 6:37, the fourth board meeting, you're open. It's open for you to state anything you'd like to speak about.
Okay, now you said you will have the meeting at 6:30.
Yes, ma'am.
These trustees, they better be there. They got.
I'm sure they will. They want to hear what you have to say.
So we want them all present.
I can only say I can be here.
No, if they got we're paying them, then they listen to what we have to say. So, if you're supposed to be, if you say you want to let the public talk at 6:30, then they should be here.
Okay.
That's the way I feel.
Mr. Lanier?
Let me, just so no one's misled. The mayor opened up the town center at 6:30, half an hour, or maybe 6 o'clock before the board meeting. It's not an official meeting. You would not have enough board members to constitute a quorum, because that would be a violation of Open Meetings Act. You would have the mayor, you have my staff, and maybe 1 or 2 board members. And then they would not be allowed unless it's an official workshop.
So when will they be allowed to come and listen to our complaints?
You should have access to them at all times.
What time do they want to come?
And different ones will come at different times, but you should have access to them at all times. But as far as, if the mayor calls a workshop, then they would all be required to come. But for her having open forum before the board meeting, so you can address items that are not current business items, they would not all be there.
So they come to meeting twice a month. They gave themselves a raise, but you telling me that they cannot come and hear our problems, hear what we want to talk about?
Let me speak to that, Ms. Wayne. If you were here when this vote was done, they voted on this.
I wasn't here.
The board voted, Mr. Lanier, the attorney, they said this is what they wanted to do. I don't agree with this, but just the same, no, it was put on the agenda. This is the way they want the agenda to read. It's been up and down, back and forth. First people wanted it at the first, then they wanted it at the end, and now they're just excluding the fact that it must be agenda item. And as Ms. Williams said, we do have to do research on that Open Meetings Act that she did say. I will research that and see if that's legit. And if it is, then we have to reverse this. because we can't do anything that's out of order or against the state statute, okay? But in the meantime, I will do that. If we have a workshop like we did today, they're all here. But until that time, you must speak on what's on the agenda item, and if you come at 6 o'clock, it will be recorded, and you'll be able to be heard. Okay? Thank you. You want to say something? Trustee?
Yeah, I just want to say that, yeah, but this is in relation to Ms. Wayne's comments. That I know I went to Riverdale on a real estate matter, and we had to, and we wanted to make some comments in relation with the Realtors Association, and they have the same practice. And there were only 2 trustees there, and the village manager. So we made our comments to them. And the reason why is that if you put it on the agenda to have, this is public comment, and you don't have a quorum of board members, then you can't have a meeting. You can't even have the public comments. We've been already advised by the clerk that even in a committee, if you do not have a quorum, you're not allowed to discuss village business. So, you know, some of us work here, and I mean, I always try to make all the meetings and try to be on time. But that's not always possible, so, you know, at least you will have an audience with the camera. I will try to be here, but if we have, if it's not posted as a meeting, it's kind of a catch-22, then if 3 trustees show up, you can't have a meeting because you can't have 3 people to do it. Now, maybe we can get an interpretation on that, because if we're not conducting the village business and we're just listening, that might be a possibility, so we need to maybe get a legal interpretation on that. Okay, that's an unfortunate thing. Now, the reason why we went to that is because we have people who are so disruptive in our board meetings. It's very unprofessional. It's very uncouth. And that's the reason why we moved into that direction. We shouldn't let a handful of people disrupt what, you know, is a business meeting, essentially. When I was president of the school board, we had to go to a similar thing as well. And our form was even more elaborate, so that if you couldn't, then you would get your email and everything was on there. We would then give you a response. But it was in response to the same kinds of things that people would come up and just repeat the same things, to complain about things, be very rude and so forth. And the board meeting is essentially a business meeting to conduct the business of the people. We need to have, and we would have forums and mechanisms where people could come in and talk to the board, where the whole board would come, whether it be at a school or whatever. We would have that periodically, and maybe, you know, we should have that, or something like that, you know, ourselves, town hall meetings. Okay.
Yes, you're not on the list, but go on. That's okay.
Happy New Year, first of all, to everybody. God bless you, and I hope you guys have an awesome year. Everybody. I'm looking at the agenda here, Mayor, and there's no spot for the committees here to let us know about what's going on in the village. So if you can let me know, because I look forward to hearing about what Parks and Rec has going on, or the other committees around University Park. So is that a part of the general public, or?
Well, to answer your question, Mr. Lanier has a meeting with all his departments on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And his position is to report certain things for that matter, but they can also be here if this announcement of scheduled meetings.
But was that ever a report?
That's here. No, that's here on the agenda. If they would like to stay for that, announcements and scheduled meetings, or mayor's report, trustees and management comments.
Is that part of this agenda?
Yes, right here, announcements and scheduled meetings. So I don't know why that was taken off. Let me put it like that. I don't know why that was taken off. I would agree with you. So we'll talk to Mr. Lanier and the attorney. We'll see if they can put that back on.
I'm sorry, I didn't have that page. That page wasn't
Right.
given to the
Yeah,
package.
because I would think that should be on there. Normally it is there. Why it's not here now, I don't know, but we will question that and we'll make sure that they have the time to report, okay? Thank you. All right, at the end of the discussions for that, thank you everyone for your comments. Mayor, Board Trustees, comments. Trustee, just a second, let me start with Trustee Williams.
Maybe I can help the last time. Can you hear me?
No, not too good.
Okay, I want to say, I hope everybody had a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, and welcome back. I'd like to help the last lady that had a comment about what's going on. Here I can give you a little bit that I know of. A raffle, food, prizes, music, winners and champions. Win into the winner with your friends and neighbors. They will be playing bid whist, ball, chess, spades. This is a. I don't believe this, Lord. Okay, pick up the sticks and more. They're gonna be playing a lot of games, and it's from We the People present these games, and it's gonna be January the 17th, 2015 at 1 Thornwood Mall, University Park. So everybody can come out and have a nice time. And those are my comments.
Who are we the people?
Right.
We the people are the people in the community, like you said.
What people?
I don't know, I don't have a list. So,
It's a political, is that a political?
you can ask.
I can answer that. No, we're not.
No, excuse me, I'm not asking you to answer that, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's the comments from the trustees, thank you. That's what I'm talking about, blurt now. You guys need to have some control. Oh, you finished that?
No, we're not a political organization.
Yeah, I'm finished. Everybody have a blessed day, a blessed evening.
Okay. Trustee?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks everybody for attending the viewing. I too would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy and prosperous new year. I hope this year brings everyone much success. I too will reiterate what Trustee Williams was talking about on January 17, 2015 at 1 Thornwood Mall, University Park, Illinois, from the hours of 4 to 7 p.m. There will be raffle, food, prizes, music, and winners and champions at the We the People game night, a citizens group looking to bring people together and bring back community. Not political, we're just getting together and we're playing some games. We're playing Bid Whist, Bones, aka Dominoes, Pokino, chess, spades, Uno, left, center, right, which is also very fun, and pick up sticks and more. So I would like to invite everybody to come out, play some games with us, and let's get together as a community. As far as this meeting agenda form, new thing, I'm going to reserve comment for right now. I do find it a little weird. I don't remember ever voting on anything like this, but we're not the ones that set the agenda. That would fall on the mayor. So we'll just have to go with it for right now. But it has its good points and its bad points. I also like to take this time to welcome new reporter from the Southland Voice. Thanks for keeping the people informed on the issues that go on here in University Park, and looks like you have a good first article. So those are my comments and thank you.
Trustee Milton, thank you.
Gee, thank you, Mayor. I love playing pick-up sticks and eating fried chicken and watermelon, so I may attend that myself over at Thornwood House.
Please don't.
There last night, as a matter of fact. Seems like I saw that People's Choice thing on some campaign literature of Christmas cards that went out and some other stuff. So I don't know. I just hope it's not political. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
We
I just hope it's not.
Do your comments, please, so I can know.
These are my comments.
Please.
Right. Yeah. See, because if I was running this meeting, you'd have been going a long time ago. Right. Couple things. Before the regular board meeting today, we had a workshop that had two items on it. One was a report, was a presentation by Holland Corporation to relocate here part of their operations in University Park.
Sir, could you remove all this, please? We cannot make his comments.
I know you want to hear this, Ms. Morgan, so.
Not really. Oh, gosh, nothing you say. I don't want to be peed on.
And so, Mayor, I would hope that we could have a special board meeting if the redevelopment agreement gets tweaked by next Monday, so
yes,
that's possible. The second thing is, we had on the agenda, and no one came from CHA or this consultant that we hired to do an evaluation of the golf course operation, and which is unfortunate. But I think also, Mayor, that we do need to have a special board meeting or workshop to discuss in more depth this analysis that we paid for here. This is a notebook of all of their initial evaluation, and I can only tell you that, you know, I spent 25 years in corporate life, and I've never seen anything as bad as this before. Really, you know, I think kids from junior achievement would have a little bit better rating than what we see with our golf course. And if the number is correct that I heard, that explains why the golf course, since it's been open, has lost $10 million. Now that's $10 million that came out of your pocket as taxpayers. So when something is as important as this comes to the board, we need, and you need to understand fully what's going on in our village. If you wonder why we have one of the highest tax rates in Will County, this is part of the reason. It's draining. Now, we passed a levy. We haven't developed a budget yet for fiscal year 15-16, but we passed a levy, and it was a flat levy. And that levy, because most of your budget costs, probably 75 to 80% of your budget costs are labor-related contracts. Those expenses are going to go up. Not a whole lot, but they're going to go up. Which means that if we're having problems now, it's going to be amplified later on. So, year before this last fiscal year, not fiscal year, yeah, well, the last one was fiscal year. The Treasurer's report prior to that was an annual report where the golf course lost $1.2 million. I forget what the number is. The last one, they made some improvements, but they lost somewhere between $500,000 and $700,000. That's coming out of your pockets as taxpayers. Okay? So we need to have a serious discussion about this, because otherwise, I think what we will be seeing are cuts in services. Some people are complaining already that the services are not adequate.
You shouldn't be broken.
Brother Page, while you got a break, could you see that, could you and Mrs. Covington see that report get out to the general public?
Well, it's pretty substantial. I don't know if we can do a PDF and put it on the website so you can take a look at it. Because it is, as you can see, it's rough.
150 pages.
Yeah. And this is phase one. So, but it's really an indictment of how poor the golf course is written. They had a checklist that they use on certain items as to what should be were, you know, a properly functioning organization would do. There are pages where one dot out of 15 has been put in a box. It's really ridiculous, you know. So we need to address it. It's water under the dam right now, but it needs to be addressed, and I hope we can do that, you know. We can play pick-up sticks, we can play games, but this is the real game right here that we need to deal with as public officials. We need to get our community together financially, and we need to get people involved. And it's really a crying shame that so many of these key committees were eliminated for no good reason. You heard Ms. Cynthia Hudson came up here to talk about the Educational Advisory Committee, getting ready to do some big things, and all of a sudden, for no reason, no discussion, bingo, it was done. It was done under the auspices that we would take a look at things and then recommend some other committees, combine them or redo their mission and goals. None of that's been done, and it's a crying shame. Just like we haven't gotten minutes from the Legislative and Operations Committee. Supposedly, our second government here is doing the important work of the people. Okay?
Can I say something else about that?
No, it's just out of due respect, you know, this is a trustee comments at this point. So I would hope that we would, Mayor, address this more clearly. So, but again, as I said a little earlier regarding the Human Services and Special Events Committee, yes, this committee had a budget. You don't do some things for free. But they were extremely diligent on how the funds were spent for the community. And people really enjoyed it. Now, a comment was also made about doing some additional marketing to try to bring people outside of the village. We did a little of that, but the real purpose of this committee was for the benefit of the people for University Park. So the focus and the marketing costs related to that were for focus on the University Park community. When you start getting larger stuff and you know larger events, then you run into a lot of other different problems. But this committee works so well with our police department, our fire department, our public works department, the golf course, and so forth. So it's a shame that it was just kicked to the curb like it was. And with that, I just simply like to say, everybody, Happy New Year. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you, Trustee Griffin. Good evening, everyone. Every event or every statement trustee made about the Human Service Committee, I wouldn't say false, but it costs more than the return on investment that we had. They had 2 Thanksgiving dinners. I come to both. One year they had, I think, 2 people. I'm talking about the people that they served. And I think one year they had 3. These are the people that they were serving dinner to. So my thing is that, why are you getting all this, paying someone to serve or make dinner or whatever, and you serve 3 people, 2 people one year, and I think maybe 4 the next year. Just buy them something, give it to them, let them have it at home. You had the Gospel in the Park 2 years. You had more people performing than was in the seats. You lost money on that. So, I mean, we did lose money on the carnival. We lost money on that. You got to take into account, we had to pay police and fire. had to pay them. So we lost on that also. So it was cut. It was cut. I don't see no problem with it. We paid more to get stuff here than the people that came out. Now, they came out on the last day of fireworks. Everybody likes fireworks. So the last day, we had a lot of people out. But the problem with that, the last 2 years of that carnival, I don't know what it is or what happened, but we had incident with outsiders coming in, starting a fight the last 2 years. I want to thank our police department, which broke it up before it got out of hand. Okay? On Holland, on the matter of Holland, that's the company that would like to relocate from Crete to University Park. We'd be more than happy to have them, talk to them. We had them at Illinois. We asked them to come to Illinois. I have the emails. Our mayor intervened to stop them from coming to Illinois. Ma'am, I didn't interrupt you, and I appreciate it. You don't do me.
You're talking to us, though.
Yeah, I'm talking to both of them.
Look at us when you
So
talk.
now, I'd appreciate that. Okay. She calls the company and tells them not to come. She calls them to come to this meeting here. So happened, Creative Hospitality didn't come. But we had Holland. You have the two companies giving them 30 minutes before a board meeting where you don't have enough time. You could have come to Illinois, you got all night long. You got more than enough time to talk about the company. So happened, they came a little bit early, we were able to talk to them, think everything will be fine. A lot of stuff they didn't understand. I just said, just look at the source. They did not have to, she did not have to call them and tell them not to come to Illinois. Why was that? They bring in jobs. They got more than enough time. It was open to everybody. Everybody could have came. But some people have a way of just coming to what they want to come to. They couldn't come to this, they couldn't come to that, but they come to what they want to. And I think that's bad. No matter what, it looks good. We're going to get a redevelopment agreement with them, and we're going to move forward with bringing those jobs here to University Park. Creative Hospitality. If you go and look back at tapes, the only one on the board, I asked for it to close the golf course. I asked to close it. I was losing so much money. Even after my first term up here, I asked to close it. Nobody would want to. The previous board members, easy, because it's losing too much money. Everything I talked about, they put it in beautiful form in the form of this document here. What was it, 350 pages of taxpayers' money going down the drain the past 10 years. So really about, I think about $12 million over 10 years that we lost. Creative Hospitality came out and gave a critique of what was in that document. It was here. I ain't seen nobody in the audience come at all. You could have come and asked questions, gave your comments or whatever. They were here. They stayed about an hour and a half or hour and 50 minutes. About an hour and 50 minutes. Almost 2 hours. About what was wrong with that golf course. We sit there and ask questions. Did nobody come? So, you can't have it both ways. They were here, nobody showed up, but you want to sit in the audience and call names and make rude comments and all that other stuff, you know. That's all right too. Mr. Lanier, board, I'm willing to move forward with creative hospitality. Whatever they recommend, I recommend that we do. With all due speed. Whatever they say, I believe we should do it because we're losing too much money the last 10 years of that golf course. I'd like to wish everybody, I hope everyone had a beautiful holiday. And have a good week. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Rodriguez? Trustee
Larry
Brown?
I just want to just wish everyone a happy new year. That you stay, keep yourselves and your families healthy, especially during this winter season. You know of anyone who needs, I imagine we have a warming center. Yeah, the fire department and 90 Town Center are our warming centers. It's not too warm in here right now, but I would imagine once we get that squared away, we would have our warming centers available to those residents who require it. I have to say that I am not a fan of having workshops on the night of a board meeting. I think there's a lot that's not, that you can't get out. You cannot do it in an hour. I think it should be more, these meetings are supposed to be a convenience for the residents, not for us. That's what this is truly about. As some individuals who beg to differ, but this meeting is for the residents, not for the board. Residents, you are the ones who put us here. We work for you. You don't work for us. And everything that we do should be out of concern and convenience for you, not us. That's why I've never been, and I never will be, a fan of having workshops on the night of a board meeting. You know, I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and it's proven. This Holland project, you know, probably should have been one of the issues that we voted on tonight. It's an excellent idea. It's an idea that's going to put jobs. This is probably one of those issues. We probably should have had a workshop on it last week to vote on it tonight. You know, so, you know, and it's just my opinion. Unless I'm not minimizing anybody else's ideas. I'm not saying that everybody else's idea is bad and mine is good. I'm just saying, from my perspective and from the residents I've talked with, having these workshops do not inform residents as they need to be informed. So, again, I just want to wish each and every one of you a healthy and a happy new year. And Ms. Cynthia Hudson, please patronize what she's doing. She's trying to send some young guys to Spain. And she's selling candy. Please help her with her and a couple other parents. You know, and I know she's been doing it for a few months. I think you got a couple more months left.
Our time was actually up on the 31st, but I called the company up and I told them it was ludicrous for them to give us from October to the end of the year during the holiday season when everybody is broke, and they did extend our time, so we have about another month or two before the trip has to be paid.
That's the power of persuasion.
$3,000 per child.
Right, that's the power of persuasion. You know, and when you have parents who have that fire about wanting their children to experience and do things, that's what happens. So I think, you know, Ms. Hudson, and her son is going to be the first Eagle Scout that University Park has produced. And I think you know that in itself is deserves applause. But I think we should help her and the other parents who are trying to get these individuals to see outside of where they are. So
and they're all seniors and they're all honor roll students as well.
And then that makes it all that much more worthy because they are honor students and seniors. So, if you will, if you guys can get a phone number, give her a call. I'm sure her and the other parents would appreciate it. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you, Star Newspaper. I really appreciate you for coming out, and congratulations on your position. And I'd like to also say to Cynthia, congratulations. And I know her name and some other Jim Harris is on the walls of our high school because of the plight of Education Advisory Committees. And I appreciate what they've done. I'd like to distribute, some of them are gone. I was in Springfield for the inauguration, and I'd like to share the wealth and the gold as I'm looking for a wonderful year. I'm looking for a fantastic year to come here, and even you guys, and share the love. First of all, I'd like to say Happy New Year, and I pray all of your blessings are bestowed upon you and your family. This is going to be an exciting year. In the South Suburban Transportation Meeting on January 6th, University Park is still scheduled to receive the $4 million award for 424 for the University Park Reconstruction Bike Path for our local roads and street status of federal aid projects. For year 15, program for South Suburban Mayor Manager's Surface Transportation Program for the federal year for 2015 to 19, that fiscal year. University Park, I just recently signed on December 26th regarding the Cicero streetscape tip, decreasing our percentage from 50-50 to 80-20. So I'm really happy about that, and that's targeted from 16 to 2016. I-57 is in preparation to begin the final work on the bus transportation service for our local commute. Will be going on the committee for approval. IDOT is doing a great job with the responses from our few crew interviews. Thanks from Mrs. Williams, the head of the program, Mr. Crawford, intake director, and also the state senator, Toy Hutchison. That support, and we love them for this program and assisting the return home citizens and regarding their citizens and their lives for positive exchange of their lives. Congratulations to the newly elected renewed officials in collaboration. I hope the efforts will be a good investment in the people of Illinois. Closing remarks I'd like to say. I looked at our president of the United States. They accused him of so many things. God bless him. No matter what he does, he's never right. And I sit in that same seat, and here, this agenda, I would have never made such of agenda, where I don't even have a place on here to make my report. How silly is that? So, and as far as the Special Events Committee, that was something that was budgeted many moons ago. Many moons ago. And nothing was ever said about the money that was lost nor gained. Al McCowan sat here, and I respect him, and I respected him as the man that he was here, as the person that he was as the mayor. And if you notice, this legislative committee, same people sitting up here, did not form. These are the same people that were here then, and they're here now. And I would love to see how that's a difference now. This agenda, and some of the people you need to understand, as far as this committee coming here, I did not stop them. He respected me as the mayor, because he said there had been negotiations behind my back, and it was some today. And it goes on and on and on. It's not right, the whole section of how they're doing things. It's wrong, it's disrespectful. Things that you see now never happened before. And there was not a darn thing said when there were workshops, when Al McCowan was here. We had them constantly. We didn't have open meetings for you guys. First person that came against him, Trustee Griffin, came to that podium against him. I stood for him. What happened to him? He was fired. Somebody else came up there, Mr. Greg Lean. He was arrested. Somebody else came up there. They lost their contract. You did not mess with him. When you did something wrong, you were taken care of. He was respected up here. And many people say that as a woman, I will stand strong. I will not back down. If you want something, I will be more than welcome to help you with that. I'm willing to work with the committee. I've given my life to this committee that I've been here and this village 17 years before I I was even an elected official. I gave all of my all. Nobody up here can say that.
I can't.
Nobody can say that. Excuse me, I got the floor right. You see the disrespect right now. I'm talking about what I've done. I'm not concerned about them. So again, I'm talking about what I've done, all the work that I've done, and yes, you have. I can only speak for myself. I didn't know what you did. So if you did, God bless you for doing that. But I'm talking about what I've done. Excuse me, I can't say, Mr. Payton, on the committee with the cable station. I remember that. And the football with Mr. Brown, I stand to be corrected for that, and Mr. Rudez worked as well. But I'm saying the respect that we don't get from our president. And when I was at the inauguration, I took a picture of the slaves that were standing there. And do you know, in the Constitution, right now, they do not consider you a human being. Do you know every 25 years, you have to go to get voted, to get votes. If any time they want to put legislation up and say, we're not giving African Americans and Latinos the right to vote, they can put it on there and you're doomed. You need to understand, and now we finally get the right, and I wish everybody would go see the movie Salem. They need to see that movie. Selma, I'm sorry, Salem. They need to see it because to see what we were done, how we were treated in the Civil War, that was done just so we could get the right for human beings to be considered a human being. The Civil Rights War, you needed education to understand and respect. Now that we finally got the right to vote, and we even have the luxury of sitting on legislation boards, this is how we treat each other. We lie, we cheat, we stab each other. Our ancestors did all of this for this, really? For disrespect? And they don't even want to say the woman is even equal? That they don't equal that she gives birth to some of these people. But they're not worth anything? They say that African Americans are not even a human being. They looked at a dog and gave him more rights than they gave us. So now we're still not considered. We're still 3/4 of a human being. And you dare sit here and disrespect one another the way you do is disgraceful. And to constantly, no matter what I do, it's never right. But if it's a man, as so many people told me while I was out there getting signatures, they said it's a darn shame here to see the disrespect that you get. Now, I'm willing to have a workshop, but guess what? When I do ask for someone, okay, Saturdays, Jonna, do a survey, see who will come. Half the people, no. They're not willing to come. I'm always available. I work 24 hours, 7 days a week for this village. Anytime I'm available. I don't go and have backdoor meetings with people against the board. I don't have to do that. I am standing here in the name of Jesus to let everybody know what I'm doing. I don't have to. I have a job. I'm not here to take your tax dollars. I'm not asking for a raise from you. They need to get out here and be honest. Stop making the back doors. Because I'm going to say what someone said a long time ago, help is on the way. And believe when I tell you, help is on the way. And I will not go to jail or hell for anyone. I will stand for this village. I will say what I want to say. It has to start at home, they say. Manners, training, respect.
And you didn't.
And you don't.
None of it.
I'm going to say again, respect. You need to always have respect for one another. And I wish that you would read your Constitution, know who you are and whose you are. Understand your rights and what you're supposed to be. I will stand up for the people. I will continue to work hard for the people. And I have a name out there. And I was very proud to represent University Park. There are many, many places that University Park was not even recognized. We're recognized now. We're getting money now. And until we get our finances together, you won't see a lot. Who's going to give you money and your records are all out of whack? You haven't had an audit since 2008. What was happening with your money all that time? Where were you then? Ask the questions, people. Stop playing games. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the fox. Don't go to the box. I'm asking right now for an adjournment. Is there a motion? Thank you, trustee. And is there a
Before you
second?
adjourn, can you have a
All
moment of
this.
silence?
Only thing I agree on with Brother Griffith is about closing up the golf course. It's the only thing I've agreed on. But what he should be worried about is on those committees is the little $4,000 stipend you've gotten and ran over the little $4,000 budget already that you.
Did you all do a moment of silence for the young man that got lost?
Derek, yeah. Derek Bryant. His uncle's a police officer. Derek Bryant.
Oscar Brown, to adjourn.
I thought we adjourned.
No, there was a motion, sir.
Roll call.
Just do
Roll
what
call
you
to
do.
adjourn?
Yeah. Just say aye.
Ms. Young,
I
I'd like
just say aye.
Ms. Young, I'd
You
like
say
to-
aye.
Deborah,
Aye.
before you.
Griffin? Aye. To adjourn. Roll call.
Where you get that sweat at? Goodwill. Where you get that sweat at? Goodwill.
I'd like to announce, this Monday, there will be a Martin Luther King at First Baptist Church starting at 10:30. Darrell Cook will be there as the speaker. Please attend.
Can you do a moment of silence?
And yes, we'll do a moment of silence.
Say his name.
Can we please have a moment of silence?
You know what? Get around. Now.
Let's go.
Now.
If you don't leave,
Now.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Can we please have a moment of silence for the young man who lost his life on New Year's Day? There were 5 students from Creekmore High School that were in a terrible, tragic accident, a car accident. One of the young men lost his life. His name was Derek Bryant. Another young man, Anthony Bryson. He's paralyzed from the neck down. He's a football player. So there was another young man, Jason Burgess, Jeremy Townsend, and Ron Lindstrom. They were all in that car accident. They had to be cut out of that car. This happened on New Year's Day, the first day of the year. Families had to deal with this tragedy. And I would like for us to give prayers. They need lots of prayers and any assistance that you can give. They're also having a fundraiser. All of these young men received traumatic injuries which required hospitalization and multiple surgeries. We are asking our community to come together and show their support for all the families facing this long road of recovery. Please join us at our fundraising event on Saturday, January 17th at Culver's. The address is 5871 West Money Manhattan Road in Money, Illinois, 60449. The phone number is 708-746-5168. Half of all sales between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. will go directly to the families of Anthony, Jason, Jeremy, and Ron. We will also have several raffles going on. Anyone wishing to help with the benefit or able to donate a raffle prize, please contact Jen Renstrom at 708-227-4656 or Jessica White at 708-548-1899. Please continue to pray for Derek Bryant's family and all the other kids. Thank you.